3 weeks after a maximum of 40 people gathered outside the Ed Sullivan Theater calling for David Letterman to be fired in protest of a joke he told about Palin's elder daughter. A crowd so small it caused organizer John Ziegler to flee in a New York City cab for fear of being photographed amid the pathetic results of his organizing. We now know that Letterman's tenure on late night will long outlive Palin's tenure as governor. Mr. Letterman returning from a week-long vacation last night just as Palin was heading into permanent vacation.
There's a surprising announcement over the weekend. Governor of Alaska, Sarah Palin, is leaving the office. She's stepping down. Governor. Something I said?
Palin's attorney, Thomas Van Flein, answering in the affirmative, telling CNN that Letterman's jokes contributed to the governor's decision to step down. Quote, when people don't accept normal bounds of decency making jokes like that about children, maybe this is not good for the state right now, and maybe somebody else who is not the subject and whose family is not the subject of this scrutiny can move the state forward. Let's turn now to our own Eugene Robinson, associate editor and Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist of the Washington Post. Gene, good evening.
Evening, Keith.
Before we get started, any chance you used to live in Alaska?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. You got me there. I did, however, used to work in the Department of Law. But that's
well, we all did. That's where I got my start. This is the mainstream media's fault. It's the fault of late-night comedians. It's the fault of the blogosphere. It's the fault of anybody who dares to question her ethics. It's the fault of anybody who mentions her children, even when she dragged them out onto the stage. Has the soon-to-be ex-Governor Palin raised the idea of victimhood to high art?
I think that pretty much says it. Yes, she has it. In fact, she's kind of leading a vanguard. You know, there's been this curious switch where the Republicans used to always accuse Democrats of victimhood and being professional victims, and now it seems to be the Republicans who are always pointing the finger and seeing themselves as being picked on by mean liberals with fangs.
The Todd Purdom Vanity Fair piece that Richard Wolff referenced there about how the senior staff in the McCain campaign had to struggle with the fact that if Senator McCain won, the vice presidency would be in the hands of a woman who did not have the temperament for the job. Are we sort of backfilling on the veracity of that conclusion? I mean, the fact that she could not handle Letterman's jokes to the point where her lawyer actually said that contributed to her resigning because she couldn't take jokes also speak to the suitability of her temperament?
Look, I think it all speaks to it. I think this whole episode really tells us about what we need to know about Sarah Palin's suitability for high office. And look, if you can't serve out a full term as governor of Alaska because you're being picked on by frivolous investigations or whatever, I just don't think you're going to stare down Putin potentially if you became vice president last time, or if you ran for president in 2012. I mean, it's just not. I think this is not her skill set. I think her skill set is she's able to inspire people. She's able to articulate a vision of America. But in terms of actually, legislating and executive action and stuff like that, I don't think that's her strong point. I don't think rigor is her strong point, and I don't think. I think those who want to support her for 2012 are going to ultimately be disappointed because I think she's going to flake out.
If you can't beat Al Qaeda, if you can't beat Paul Schaefer, how can you beat Al Qaeda? Right. If she's leaving the governorship, but clearly based on today's interview festival, she's not leaving the public eye, at least not yet. Do you think that there's some expectation by her or people around her that the late night TV jokes are going to go away suddenly?
I would assume not. I mean, she almost has to maintain some sort of high public profile. There's probably an inner need there, and there's certainly a financial need there. She's writing a book. Everyone expects her to pop up. Potentially, who knows? She could be on TV. She could be competing against the show for all we know. But
good luck. Good luck.
You wish, but she's going to be out there, and she's going to be Sarah Palin, and she's so of course she's going to be the target of the same kind of humor as any politician gets targeted with these days. I mean, this is the heat that is in the kitchen, and one has to put up with it or get out of it.
And you're right, she's out there. By the way, just as an afterthought, if Letterman did contribute to this, he's underpaid and he's under-feared, more importantly. Gene Robinson, Pulitzer Prize winner of the Washington Post, when we're our lucky MSNBC. Thanks again, Gene.
Great to talk to you, Keith.